Hey Laura, long time no see. I'll just give everyone a few minutes to um, join and then we can begin. Is the audio okay, by the way? Can you hear what I'm saying? Just double checking. I'll give people till 5 past, maybe a bit before, and then I will begin. Yeah, I think the chat's still lagging. Like, I haven't received any message since the second one. Right, audio is fine apparently. I can now begin. If anyone joins in later, obviously, we can always recap and proceed. So today we're going to be talking about homonyms and pronunciation. Poems will be used to help guide our learning throughout this process. So many of you might not know what a homonym is, some of you may, but we're going to go through this in some detail in the next slide and beyond. So homonyms. So homonyms are words that sound alike but have different meanings. They may or may not be spelt the same. So they're words that are very similar. They look similar as well sometimes, but they have different meanings, okay? So for example, the word eight, as noted here, and eight are pronounced the same, but they have different meaning. So if I say eight or I say eight, right? Same sound, same pronunciation. We have some images here to demonstrate that fact. So here we have the number 8, as you can see. I'm not sure if this arrow is showing up for you guys, but hopefully. And it's spelt like this here, 8. Here, on the other hand, we have some woman. It looks like she's eating a croissant or a cake. She looks very happy, doesn't she? And we have the word ate here, the past tense form of eat. So she decided, if we were to say she ate that, this is what she's doing, okay? And this is the number 8. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense about what a homonym is. So same sound, pronunciation, different meaning, okay? And sometimes different spelling too. Right, fantastic. I will now go on to the next slide. Okay, so here we have the words bow and bow. The first one, so if we were to look at the spelling here, um, we would associate it with the image below. So this image here, so the main branch of a tree, okay, we'd call that a bough. But here we also have bow, this word here, and it's very, very different, and the spelling reflects that. And as you can see, there's a guy here, he's bowing, he's making a respectable, respectful or courteous gesture. He's bowing to someone, you know? So those two are very different words, but have very different meanings. Here we have more example of homonyms. So I don't know how big the font size is, guys, but hopefully you can see that. So homonyms, here's a big list. So here we have 8, the example we went through in the second slide, and then we have the number 8. We have fair. So let's say I had a cake. I cut the cake into 2 pieces. So I get one half, my friend gets the other half. That's fair, right? We would say that is fair. But then we also have a different kind of fair, F-A-R-E. So if you were to use a bus or a train and the bus driver asked you to pay, let's say, £2, so you could say, so someone could ask you how much was the fare? You could say £2, okay? So this is often associated with money. Next we have buy, and buy. The latter two are probably easier to use. So buy, when you go into a shop, you buy something, or we could say buy to say goodbye to someone, wave. And then we have the other word buy, which is often used as a conjunction when you're connecting other words together, or even at the start of sentences or start of questions. So I could say, by the way, then I can ask a question or make a statement. Next we have see and see. So SEE. So if I am seeing something with my eyes, I'm looking at something. That's one way of thinking about see. But then we have the other see, which think of water, right? A lot of water, the sea. Um, right. So going back onto the PowerPoint slide, where were we? We were on sea. Next, we have and a lot of people, this confuses a lot of people because they sound the same, right? And the spelling is also very similar. The only difference is we have an apostrophe after the T. So this is just it is, and this is it's. So, but they're pronounced the same, it's. So with the second one, you use it for a possessive quality. When I say possessive, I mean something you own sometimes. So if I were to say, let me think. If I were to say, it's good, I'm using the first construction, right? It basically means it is good, okay? Now, were I to use the second construction, again, it sounds the same, which is why they're confusing. It's it's still the same pronunciation, but the sentence would be different. So I wouldn't use this here to say it's good. I would use this version instead. Okay, now this is the one I've attached pictures to because it's quite confusing. This word in particular, bow, you guys probably you won't see this word very often. It just means this here, this main tree branch, as I showed you guys earlier. So bow, bow. We have lead, or we can use lead. Now, again, this isn't one that is very common because we're talking about the chemical lead, spelt like this. But now you might see this word also being pronounced as lead, not just lead. A bit confusing. Next, we have right and right. So we have the first right, if you're writing something, that's right. Then we have right when something is correct. So let's say I asked you, what is 1 and 1? 1 plus 1, okay? Let me just write that down. So 1 plus 1, right? If I ask you that question, you would respond 2, okay? Hopefully. And I would say, that's right. Okay. Um, okay. Those are different constructions, so we can go past those. Let's look at 2. These ones are very common. So we have 2. So if you're sending a letter to someone, we could say, I sent it to him, okay? And then we can use 2 with a double O. Now, this is if you're using it as an intensifier. When I say intensifier, I mean a word that adds more quality and emphasis on something. So if I say something is very good, right? It's very good. I'm making the good seem more better, more impressive. Or I could say too good. So in a way, it can function as very. Now we have 2, probably the easiest one to comprehend. So 2, the number 2. Okay, so it's crazy, isn't it? 3 words have the exact same pronunciation, same sound, but have completely different meanings. Right. Next one. Again, we have there. So this one is they are, but as you can see, the apostrophe changes things here. So that's there, there, and there. So this one here is probably the one you will see most often. Usually we use it to point out location. So if someone asks me, where did you go on Friday night? I could say, I went over there. And I could point towards, I don't know, Weatherspoons, for example, or Greg's, whatever, wherever, right? This one, try to break this one down into 2 words. When we hear there, but it's spelt like that, it's just they are. Actually, that is they are. I don't know why they include this example. Ignore that. But there is a possessive quality. So when I say that, I mean, let's see. Their kindness was their kindness made me happy. So I went to someone's house. They've been very kind to me, and I want to talk about them. So I would say this one here, their kindness made me very happy. Okay, so I'm talking about them. It's specific to them. Okay, those people. Oh, hey, Gabrielle. Okay, now that we have a few more people, I'd like you guys to do a few exercises. So I want you guys to insert the correct homonyms. So you can see here we have various words, and then you will see various sentences here. So number one, it says, I can write my name. So look at this word write here. The spelling is correct. It is a word, but it does not fit this context. What we need to find the right we need to find the word that should go here. It's somewhere in here, okay? So what would we use? How would we spell it out? I've just read a question posed by Gabrielle from earlier. You said, does bought and bow have the same pronunciation? No, they do not. So we have the word bow, this here, bow, compare it to this tree branch, but bought is or. So bought, bow. Bow rhymes with bow, bought rhymes with taught. Okay, back onto this exercise. So what do we have so far? What have you put for number one? Yeah, right, fantastic. What would we put for number two? So we have I hear with my ears. What should go here instead? Remember, it's the spelling we're looking at. So look for a word that sounds like here, really. Just use the correct spelling. Okay, I'm going to go on. So the correct spelling was here, which is over here. See what I did? Right, next one we have the knight rode his horse. Okay, so when we're using the knight here, we're talking about a person and he's on a horse. So this here means the night as in the time of day. It's nighttime, it's dark. We don't want that. We want something else. Very good, Gabrielle. Very good. Okay, here, so now we're on Knight rode his horse. So the answer would be Knight with a K. So K-N-I-G-H-T. So this word here would go. Next, we will go on to number four. That is correct. You are right. Now, if you remember from one, we used right with a W here, but correct, we don't want the W. We want, where is it? Where is it gone? Let's have, oh, here we are. So we want this one here. We want right, okay? Mail is delivered by a postman. Number five. Well, okay, so what this sentence is saying is that the postman is delivering a man, because mail is indicating a man, right? So the postman is not delivering a human being to another human being. At least I hope not. What would go here instead? We would want a different spelling, right? So we would want, where is the correct spelling? We want this one here, M-A-I-L, male. That's what we would want there. So we want mail is delivered by a postman. Very good, Gabrielle, very good. Right, next one. I dry my hair. Okay, so we know the answer is hair, as in this kind of hair, which we have. I swear, finding these words is annoying. There we go. Hair. So, what do you think this word here means? Hair, spelt with H-A-R. So remember, not hair. So what do you think that word means? Think about that for a second. Put your answer in the chat box and Laura will provide you with the correct answer, hopefully. So next we have 7. The man was very bored. Okay, so board, when you think about a board, think about some wood, something flat, something big, usually on the wall you have a board, but a man can't be that, right? A man is not a piece of wood or something on a wall. So, but he can be bored, as in this one here, B-O-R-E-D. Next one, use the stairs to go up and down. This one's a bit trickier. So what would be the correct spelling for this? Well, here it is. Remember, guys, even though the sentences are incorrect in context, the spelling is fine. It's just they're using the wrong words in the wrong context. That's all. Next we have 9. The first number is 1 or 1, depending on your pronunciation. So if it's number, we're talking about the number 1, right? And we know that's not spelt like that. It's spelt like... It's spelled O-N-E. So look out for it. There we go. Okay, number 10. Dad helped his son to read. So his son, his child, well, maybe his child, maybe not. Maybe it's his son, someone related to him. So dad helped his son to read. What is the correct spelling? So while we're on this one, sun, as we know, is a star, but the thing that keeps you warm, the thing that's outside, it's very hot, it's very warm. That's how that would be spelled. But we're talking about someone related to the dad, and that would be spelt son, S-O-N. Next up, we have number 11. Which way should I go? Now, this way here is referring to the weight of something, okay? So if you go to a butcher shop, they often weigh the amount of meat they're going to sell you. So the heavier it is, the more money they will charge you, okay? So you could ask them, how much does that weigh? So how heavy is it? But in this sentence, we're asking for directions, okay? So we want the spelling W-A-Y, way. This is what we want here. Next one. Dust blew into my eye, okay? So I, that's the key word. They're talking about this here. But in the sentence, I refers to me as a person. But I just want my eye, this thing here. So we have the spelling E-Y-E, okay? Sally ate a sandwich. Yum, 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 yum. She ate a sandwich. But this is not the word we want. because this means the number 8. So that makes no sense. So she ate a sandwich. So think about the previous slides. How is that spelt? So that's A-T-E, as shown here. Okay, next we are on Dear Mac, how are you? So think about this word dear here, okay? Um, it this is the spelling for an animal, okay? But we're not saying when we're assumingly Mac is possibly a friend. So I'm writing to a friend. I'm not gonna say dear as in animal and then say his name. What I'm going to instead say is dear spelt with an E and an A. So where is that? Here. This is what we want. Dear. So different words, same sounds. The man climbed out of the hole. Okay, so this word here, what do you think it means? By the way, I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Right, apologies guys, but I am back now and ready to roll. So where were we? We were on 15. The man climbed out of the hole, this word here. So when we look at this word here, it means everything. So when we say the whole in terms of WHOLE, we mean everything. So if I had a cake, someone gave me a cake, and I decided to eat all of the cake, so there is no cake left. The cake is finished. And someone can ask me, so you ate that whole cake by yourself? That's when we would use whole. But this is talking about a man climbing out of the hole. So we would not use the spelling, we would use H-O-L-E, if I can find it on here. There we go. This is what we would use. Okay. A rose is a beautiful flower, okay? So this flower is talking about the cooking ingredient. So you know the white stuff, the flour, what you use to make bread, cakes. That is what this means here. So that's not a rose, right? What we want instead is to use this spelling for flower, okay? So what is the answer? So we don't want the spelling, we want S-O. This is what we want here. The plant has grown. So this is not, so when the plant gets bigger, we say it's grown, but we don't use this spelling. What spelling do you think we use instead? Very good, guys. Keep up the good work. So the spelling we're going to use instead is where are we? This one here. So Grown. When something gets bigger, we can say it has grown. Okay. And this other spelling here, Groan. Just think about what that means. Have a guess in the chat box by all means, and Laura can hopefully help you guys out with that. So next we have it has a long tail. Okay, so when we see this spelling here, it's not talking about the tail of an animal, it's talking about a story. So tale, when we say a tale, we tend to think about stories or myths. Um, but when we want to talk about a long tail, like let's say you see a lizard or you see, yeah, so a lizard, right? Those green reptiles. So if you see one of them, an animal, and it has a long tail, we will spell it with Tail, wherever you are. There you go. Here, we'd use this spelling instead to talk about the length of an animal. But we wouldn't use that. We would use that if we were talking about a story. So, final one, guys. Did you dye your hair? So, when people get their hair dyed, they're changing their hair color, you could say they dyed it. But we wouldn't use this spelling because this spelling means when someone dies. So, um, that would be me dying. So, we would not use that spelling. Instead, we would use this spelling here, D-Y-E. And with that, we have completed this exercise. I'll drink some water to celebrate. How's everyone finding these exercises so far? All good? Right, as Laura said earlier, groan is a type of a noise or a way of talking. Um, right, so I'm going to read out a famous poem. Now, the reason I'm reading this poem out is to improve everyone's pronunciation, it will improve your vocabulary, it will make you more comfortable with the English language. Because after I've finished reading this poem out, I will provide a YouTube link so you guys can practice this in your own spare time. So I'll start now. I take it you already know of tough and bow, and cough and dough. Others may stumble, but not you. On hiccup, furrow, laugh, and through, and cork, and work, and card, and ward, and font, and front, and word, and sword. Well done. And now if you wish, perhaps to learn of less familiar traps, beware of herd, a dreadful word, that looks like beard, and sounds like bird, and dead, it's said like, oh, apologies about this error. Where were we? And dead, it's said like bed, not bead. For goodness sakes, don't call it deed. Watch out for meat and great and fret. They rhyme with sweet and straight and debt. A moth is not a moth in mother, nor both in bother, broth in brother. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit, okay? First of all, I'd like to draw your attention to this red word here. So this is an older spelling of the word hiccup. Um, so you'll be used to seeing this spelling more often now instead. However, I want you guys to look at the word bow here, okay? So we have the word bow, okay? And then we have the word cough. So I look at that and I think, so if I'm learning English and I see the word bow, then I see the word cough in written English. So you'll notice there's only one difference, the C and the B. So you might be thinking, why is this bow and this is not cow? Because it should be, right? But it's not cow, it's cough. Why is that? Well, the English language can be very weird sometimes. So it's good for us to go through these spellings and poems so it makes us um, more able to understand, okay? So that's a nice little poem and it has a continuation here. Okay, so here we have, and here is not a match for there, and dear and fear for bear and pear, and then there's dose and rose and lose. I think I stumbled there myself. This is not an easy poem to read because it takes practice. Just look them up and goose and choose and do and go, then fort and cart. Come, come, I've hardly made a start. A dreadful language, man alive. I've mastered it when I was 5. Okay, so I really enjoy that poem. It's funny, it's cool, and it has many important words that you guys should know. So the YouTube link below contains the poem I just read. Copy and paste it into your browser and save it or bookmark it. So as you can see here, guys, there is a link. Obviously, it might be a bit difficult to copy and paste that. So what I would encourage you to do is write this down on a piece of paper or on a on your laptop or computer or whatever. So write the title down. I take it you already know brackets English pronunciation. Once you go on YouTube and you type that in, go on the first video, the first result that comes up, and a guy will read out that poem again. And there will be a text in the description. So you can practice that poem at any time, and that will help with your pronunciation and various other things. So I'll leave it on here for about a minute, so it gives you some time to copy it. Sorry, I just realized I moved slides, so you could not really see it, could you? But I'll leave it on for another minute or so. So write that down, copy it, save it. Hope you guys are doing well, by the way. Stay safe, guys, and do your best. I'm really hungry. After this is over, I'm gonna treat myself to a beautiful sandwich that's waiting for me in the fridge. Okay, so hopefully that's given you enough time to copy that down. On to our final slide and exercises for today. Okay, so first we're going to fill the blank and we're going to pick the right option. So I have I'm hungry. So I'm just means I am hungry. How about a blank? Look at these 3 dots here at that coffee shop. So would we use this spelling? So would we use A or would we use B? Which spelling would we use for the first question or sentence? Okay, so the answer is B, okay? Snack. We'll use this spelling here. So I'll say, how about a snack at that coffee shop? We wouldn't use this spelling because it's snake. You know what a snake is, right? I think it's technically a class of reptile, but um, it's we want food at a coffee shop. We don't want a snake. Next, I like shopping at Macy's because the clothes there are not expensive. In fact, they are very. Are they A or are they B? Which one would we use? Think about that. Have a guess. Right. So as Laura said earlier, guys, for the first one, so I'm hungry. How about a blank at the coffee shop? We're going to use B, snack. Because when you go to a coffee shop, we want food, okay? So snack is the word we use. Snack is like a little bit of food. We can call that a snack. So that's what we want. Okay, back to this one. So for this one, we're going to use cheap. We're not going to use ship because ship is something you sail on. So think if you watch the movie Titanic, they are on a ship, right? Which later sinks. We don't go to a clothes shop for a ship. We go because it's hopefully cheap. So you know Primark, the clothes sometimes is cheap, so we go there. A. Where do you guys question mark? So blank question mark. So is it A or is it B? So am I gonna say where do you guys A or B? Which one? Different words, different spellings. Hello Ahmed, nice meeting you today. Okay, so when I say where do you guys, I would say live. So B, I would say where do you guys live? So I want to know where you live. So if someone asked me where do I live, I would say I live in Newcastle. I wouldn't say leave because leave, this spelling here means going away. So if I were to go away, that would be leaving, and that's not what we're asking. So I'm going with the German blank. What do you want to drink? What goes into this blank here? Are we going with A or B? Again, they look similar, but they are different words and they have different meanings. So back to this one. I'm going with the German. What do you want to drink? So after German, I'm going with the German. They say something, they either say A or they say B. Which word do they use? Okay, I've seen the answer beer, and that is correct. I'm going with the German beer, so the drink. Bear is a big animal. Rah. They don't want to drink a bear. Really, like that would be a very, very bad idea, believe me. Milk or coffee, I want. Do I want A or do I want B? Which one do I want? Exactly. So the correct answer would be both. So it would be A because there's milk or coffee, and I have two options. I want both, okay? I can take both. So A. Bouffe is not correct in this context. Um, so, if you ever go to a restaurant and they asks you, I can put you there in the booth. So think of like a special kind of seating area that's enclosed. You could call that a booth, but that has nothing to do with the amount of coffee or milk we want, right? Completely different. So finally, you've all done very good today, guys. Thank you for showing up. This is the final question. When I'm asleep, I start counting. A or B? Now, you can use both words actually for this one, but in English, we have a popular saying, um, I start counting sheep. People say they start counting sheep to fall asleep, okay? That's the construction they use. They don't count chips in the night. They can count chips, but they usually don't. So go with sheep for that one, guys. Right, everyone, I'd like to offer a huge thanks to everyone for showing up today. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. Remember, once this has been uploaded, you can watch this video back at any time. If something was too quick, you can go back and have a look. So thanks again, and see you guys later.